Good morning, or at least it's morning where I'm at in Houston, Texas. I've been up though since about 1:30 a.m. I'm a nighttime person. I'm nocturnal by nature. Have been since I was a child. I'm age 62 now, and sometimes I like to have a Coca-Cola. I want to show everybody, because when I drink one of these and I'm making a video, snapping a pop, I don't want people to think I'm drinking beer. The drinking of beer or any alcohol, it disgusts me. That is so ignorant for a person to intoxicate themselves. Okay. No, that was a swig of coffee left in my cup or whatever. I'm going to talk to you people. Be patient, but I'm going to give you accurate information. Now, some things I suspect spiritually, but there are other things I literally know. Absolutely know for a fact, because I do remember being in the spirit world before I was born. I do have several videos on that, but I don't get many views because people, they're going to listen to garbage on the internet that has a bunch of piano and violin in the background with pictures of clouds with lightning. That's the garbage people are going to listen to. They're not going to listen to an individual. The more commercialized something is, the more it is bullshit. If it comes from the mouth of just a person, like I found even on auto repair, if it's not a shop but an individual that has learned the hard way, hands-on, the information is much more accurate. And by watching another person work on a certain vehicle, like vehicles I have, I can do the job easier by watching just a regular person do it. But anyway, enough about me. It just sort of explaining my way. Okay, demon-possessed people. I would say every 5 out of 10 people are demon-possessed. Demons are going to use the fashion that works best for them. Like, if a demon is in a man, it's going to use his brute strength. If a demon is in a man that has a lot of money, that has authority over others, he will appear to be a nice person and will smile and will be acceptable in his community and society, because he can hurt many, many people this way. And most preachers are demon possessed, because see, Satan and unclean spirits, the fallen angels, they know every verse in the Bible, and they have met God, plus they have been in heaven. So they know every verse, and they can be totally accurate, but see, their purpose is to mislead people. And you notice how most people, they believe in the preacher and the people that go to that church. They're not actually worshiping Almighty God or Jesus Christ. They're worshiping that preacher, and they're believing in that human, instead of God. But demon-possessed people, it's very more common than you would think. Most people think a demon-possessed person is going to be the part Linda Blair played in the 1973 The Exorcist, to where they turn green and they look ugly and they growl. No. Because if a demon showed through the flesh in that way, everybody would be on to them. Even the authorities would have them restrained at a mental institution. You see? So a demon can work best by what devices the person it possesses. Like, I know a woman that works at a grocery store. She's the manager. Her name is Marla. That woman is demon possessed. See, and the demon in her knows how to manipulate the other women that work at that grocery store and manipulate men. And in the 11 years I've been shopping at that grocery store, there's not any man working in that grocery store, not even the meat market. Because see, one by one, she got rid of them by using mental manipulation to make others believe that the men one at a time were trying to put the make on the females. And she would do this in a way to where she could go to top management and appear frightened, like, I just don't know what that guy might do. We're all afraid of him. And see, that demon knows people buy into that, and they're going to believe it. And I can see her demon right through her. It's yellow, negative energy. I can actually see it. See, a demon does not have an appearance. It's energy. Energy, same as your brain is energy. What you're thinking is energy that you don't visibly see unless you can see multi-dimensionally, into multi-dimensions. You can see these things. Some of us have that gift. And I have that gift, not all the time, but most of the time. Now, I can look at anybody's eyes. Because the eyes are part of the brain, actually. They're not part of the outside of the body. The eyes are part of the brain. That's why we have to constantly blink, and they have to have water. Because our eyes are an internal organ, actually, exposed to the outside. But we have to keep closing, or whatever. But I can see if a person has a demon or demons in them. And some people have many demons. And they can get through life. They know how to have a mental impression on others. Like, there are people. A person can come in a room, and then everybody, they will just feel the negative, and they'll be, oh God, there they are again. And they could, because it's negative energy. It's opposite of God. It's opposite of Almighty God and Jesus Christ. And people also, they're looking for hybrids. They're looking for monsters. The monsters people are people you work around, a person that's standing right in front of you. And why would a demon need to come out of CERN when they're already in human beings? Because the very humans that wanted for the CERN unit to be built, that's in Switzerland, France territory, the very people that wanted that built have demons in them. So why are they trying to get the demons out of the machine when it's already in the humans? They've already got a physical body, along with money power and authoritative power. Don't you get it? I mean, I could tell you people what CERN unit's intention is, but I'm not going to get into another subject there, okay? But I can tell you its intent was to use as a body disposal unit, similar to when Adolf Hitler used buildings to fill them full of natural gas to kill millions of Jewish people. It's the same damn thing, except there's no bodies to contend with after the acceleration of the piston in this cylinder, okay? That's all that is. But now, here's something that I don't know, but I personally believe it from experience. I believe that there is the demon seed, and there always has been. Now, it is said demons were once born through women and they were giants. Okay, that's in the Holy Bible. Okay, that was stopped by God. Those things were destroyed, but the demon seed, I believe, still exists to where same kind, height, weight, proportionate averages to where they're born into this life. I'll give you an example. Okay, there's just too many incidents in my life. I remember when I was a child, my memory is incredible. incredible. I have an incredible memory. Those of us that remember being in the spirit world, our memories are better than most people because it connects to our spirit soul because we realize that's what we actually are. We're just in a human body, you know, or whatever. And we also seem to understand there is no gender. There's no such thing as gender. Like right now, I am a man and a woman. You people don't understand that, but if I was wrong, why do I have testosterone hormones plus estrogen hormones? That only proves my point, that I'm both right there. You know, science, you know, the human body proves this, you know, to be factual. Okay, but anyway, about the demon seed. Okay, this incident happened to me in 1962. I remember the first day of school. Okay, like I said before, this was the year 1962, South Houston Elementary School. Alright. My mother drove me to school that day. You know, and I remember when she left, and I remember I was in Mrs. Valdez's class. As a boy, I pronounced it Valdez. It was actually Valdez. Okay, and I sat, from walking in the classroom and looking back, I sat in the very back, on the left, on the rear, okay, of the classroom. Next to me, there was a classroom of us, about 30 children. About 30, at least that, maybe more. Okay, to my left, there was 2 Mexican boys. Well, that's the South Houston area. About 50% of the school was Mexican or Hispanic. Personally, I don't see it to be insulting for a person to be known as a Mexican. Why? I mean, old Mexico has great resources. You know, I mean, as far as the failures and poverty, I don't know what caused that, but the resources are great, and it doesn't change the fact that they are people, right? I mean, there are good Mexicans, or if they want to go by Hispanic, Latin American, so be it. You know, but enough of the racial. You know, that is not going to get anybody anywhere. You know, it's like Aaron Russo. I think he is about the closest man to God that there ever was, or one of the closest to God that there is. And I do believe he is Hispanic, Mexican by nature, but it doesn't matter. Okay, next thing, okay, about what happened. I remember my mother had bought me 2 new number 2 pencils. You know, they're long, that's the standard lead wooden pencil. They're yellow. They have an eraser on them. I looked on my desk and they were broken in half. And it was shocking to me because I'm like, and I picked them up and I got 4 pieces here out of 2 pencils. You know, that still bothers me till today because that was so evil. And I hear laughing, and I turn, and there's these 2 Mexican boys. They're laughing. They look like evil demons from hell. Okay, and these boys are like 6 years old. Wow. Alright, but it didn't end there. Okay, when the children have recess, okay, they would go outside. They called it recess. I remember we went outside. You know, it was about 10 in the morning. And the one Mexican boy said, "Oh, I'm sorry that we broke your pencils. Come over here, I want to show you something." And I walked over by the side of the building, and he punched me right in the mouth, I remember, and I started to cry. And he said, wait, don't cry. We'll be friends, I'm sorry for this. I'll come see you after school and we'll be friends. Well, I believed this. Alright, now, you have to also realize I lived in a house that was a good 3 miles from that school. Alright, I remember taking the bus, getting on the bus at the end of the day, and, you know, getting off where it stopped, where my house was, where I lived. And I thought, well, I guess he's not going to come to my house and be my friend. When I got off, he had already gotten there somewhere. He was sitting on our brick flower bed in front of our porch. And before I went in, where my mother knew I was at home and my dad was still at work, he says, see, I came here, I'm your friend. He punches me in the mouth again, and then he runs away. Okay, now think about this, people. Think about this. You've got a 6-year-old boy, somehow he manipulated and maneuvered his way 3 miles, a 6-year-old boy, to be there and then to deceive me the second time by attacking me physically. Then, after he runs away, he somehow maneuvers himself back to South Houston, where the Mexican people lived back then, that was 3 miles away. Now you're going to tell me that whatever was in him had to have a minimum mentality of that of at least what would have been a 15-year-old on average. See, the demons have been here thousands of years, so they can be in a 6-year-old child, but then have 4,000 years experience. You see, that, people, is why I believe in the demon seed. I truly believe in the demon seed. Because there are people, they are literally evil from the day they are born. Now, first off, let me tell you all, I am not a danger to anyone. I am not a harm to myself, and I am not a harm to others. So I'm not going to go out and be some vigilante believing I'm God appointed, you know. No, because that's not my place. You know, I wasn't put here to clean up the earth or whatever. But what I'm telling you, people, I do believe that there is a demon seed. And a lot of time, a lot of you parents, when you have evil children that later, they get into drugs, they commit crimes, don't necessarily blame yourself. They may have had that in them when they were born. Because and that deal, well, see, that's just one example about that 6-year-old boy. When I started the first grade in 1960, that's only one. I've got dozens of more same experience. Because see, my memory is so keen and detailed. I can remember everything kids my age would tell me they would think about or what they wish they could do. I remember details of, you know, what was in a lot of their minds. And, you know, I can see a lot of things. Like, there's a woman, she's 65 now. She was my next door neighbor at my other house for 17 years. She would stand and stare at me all the time. See, she stared at me because she knows I have a spiritual connection, a memory of the spirit world. See, I'm half and half. Part of me is in the spirit world all the time because I know of it. I recognize it. And this can apply to anybody once you believe in it and you're aware of it. You know, you will get this way. And see, but the reason she stared at me, because the demon in her knew it couldn't fool me. She had her husband fooled. She had 2 sons. You know, and now they bought a bigger, finer house in Pasadena, a few miles from me here in Houston. You know, and everybody thinks, oh wow, she's a great mother, she's a great wife, you know, and she's a great grandmother. What's in her, it's a thing. It's a thing. Because see, in the background, what it does, it hurts people. It ruins people's lives. It puts guilt on people. I can see it in her eyes. When God returns, what's in her is going to come out with a lot of fear. And those around her, like her sons and her husband now, they may be very shocked. But I can see what they're only yet going to find out. Because see, a demon is going to use to the best ability for what it has. It's like if I was a entity floating around, and it's like I had to choose what I could at the time being. And it's like, there's a 15-year-old girl, I'll jump in that body. Okay, if I want to go cause harm, which you have to, you know, if you're an evil demon, because of what it is. Okay, I would use what I could based on what she was to where I could live a long physical life and I could be in a physical flesh body. See, and live life as a human. But see, and I would use best what worked, as to where if I had to choose a man's body, I may choose another method based on what I could do in life. You see? It's just it. So there's not different kinds of demons like you will see in a lot of videos. They say there's different types of demons. No, there isn't. They're all one and the same. They are legion, meaning Satan and all of the fallen angels that are your unclean spirits, demons, which all mean the same. Fallen angels, unclean spirits, and demons means the same thing. And they are not different. There is not certain goddesses or any of this thing. That's all nonsense. There's demons. They have no gender. They're demons. They have no image. You know, if you see an image of a demon that looks vicious and scary, that's only an image they're influencing into your mind. They don't have an image. A human has an image. A tree has an image. Or what is material physical has an image. But people, you need to realize there are people that are walking around. In a way, some of them, they're not humans. Because what it is, it's a demon spirit with thousands and thousands of years experience in a human body looking at you, talking to you, and working around you. And you might think, well, why would they want to be in a human body if they had to work and sweep floors or be a cashier or stock shelves? Because it's better than the spirit world where that they're nothing and they know their time is limited. That way at least they can be independent of Satan and the other demons temporarily as long as they're in a body. See, demons backstab each other. Same as in this physical life, criminals backstab each other. It's the same thing. A demon is not loyal to another demon. See, it wants to, one demon wants to get away from the demons as bad as the other demon does. And they're going to get into the first body that they can or be born through some woman as soon as they can. Because they want to at least live a physical life before God returns and they are burned to rubbish, which is what's going to happen. You know, that's what the lake of fire is. It's described in Revelation in the King James Version Bible. But where else? What else can I let you people know? Oh boy. You know, it's amazing, those of us that have this information, see, we're silenced, we are not heard, because we don't have music in the background, and we don't have a monetized video to where, you know, it's like buy Prozac, all this, to where it's going to generate, you know, views. So in this video, it'll probably be like the rest, 200 views in 5 years. It's amazing what I could teach people, you know, if only I could get through and my voice could be heard. You know, it's amazing what I could teach you people, and, you know, but anyway, I'm going to leave it there, and do realize that there is a spirit world, people. And don't try to conjure up your loved ones or talk to them like a lot of these moron psychics tell you. Because you do that, what you're going to end up with is a demon impersonator. Okay? That's what's going to happen. It even tells that in the Bible. That's not your department. Not yet. You know, I mean, through Jesus Christ, you might meet a deceived loved one or relative that has passed away once you're on the other side. But in this life, anything that comes to you is Satan or an unclean spirit demon. That's all it is. It's impersonating. They can impersonate. Anyway, goodbye to all of you for now. And don't be evil. Because if you're evil and you do wrong, bad things are going to happen to you. Bad things happen to bad people. You know, the movie called The Mummy, it was semi-comedy. That was a good movie. I loved the background music and stuff. I liked that movie. But it's to where that the librarian, the lady, she told Benny he was a backstabber. And she said, Benny, bad things happen to bad people. And in the movie he goes, what? Huh? He had a squeaky voice. Yeah, that's true, people. Many things are said in jest that are truth. Okay? But don't believe in movies either. Later, everyone.